want to acknowledge it, but it doesn't matter. I said, and you all said, I didn't run to be president for all Democrats. I ran to be president for all Americans, regardless of whether that. But really and truly, think about it. You saw the effects firsthand. We put cops back in the beat because they couldn't afford, they didn't have the budgets to pay for them. Kept teachers in the classroom. That was in each of your districts. In addition to that, we did so much more. We passed the largest investment in infrastructure since Eisenhower.
Because any changes to Social Security's trust funds will require 60 votes in the Senate by law. Therefore, they will require both parties to come together. They even added for Congress to suggest this is the reason we have a debt ceiling problem, and we should look at these programs to cut. It's just really outrageous, and these are benefits that people have earned. So I think it's good for people to see the stimulus payments, everybody. We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, and what President Biden is doing for you, the American people. So folks, let's get into the most important stimulus news first. So by March 2020, the CARES Act was signed into law, and the majority of Americans received a stimulus check, directly deposited into their bank or via mail. States also received the stimulus funds, and in all, the federal government sent out 3 rounds of stimulus to the people. Some of these states began distributing the stimulus checks last year, but the millions of residents have yet to receive the funds for various reasons. Americans may be eligible for direct payments of up to $600, thanks to a new energy assistance program. Even residents in Connecticut may be eligible to receive fuel assistance from $250 to $600 from a $4 million granted to the city. Now, residents in this state have a household that is responsible for heating costs, and a member receiving benefits from this now. Now, the households have until May 31st to apply, and June 16th is the last day to submit deliverable fuel water bills. Lawmakers are joining Pennsylvania Department of Revenue and encouraging older and disabled people in Pennsylvania to apply for rebates, property taxes on rent paid in 2022. This program is just available to residents who meet the age and income requirements. Eligible participants must be 65 or older. Widows and widowers 50 years and older, and 18 or older to get the stimulus check, everybody.
And a few days later, after they finally found that his son was there and had died, I got a call from Davis, and we talked as fathers. I had lost several kids earlier, a long story, but we were talking as dads, and I didn't understand. I didn't have the loss he had, but I did lose a wife and a child, and in an accident. And it was I was on my way when he calls to speak to students at the University of Delaware to talk about 9/11. And there were several thousand students to try to set the record, not straight, but to calm things down a little bit, and to make some sense out of the new world we're in. And I told him where I was going. And he said over the phone, he said, just tell them. I'll never forget what he said. Don't be afraid. He said, don't be afraid. Tell them that. It's extraordinary, yet the most ordinary of American things. Don't be afraid. To know that life can be unfair and uncertain, a cruel twist of an accident, a deliberate act of evil.
All right, with the cost of everything going up, Social Security beneficiaries, they're in line for an increase because these are people that are on a fixed income.
Absolutely. And every year, the Social Security Administration looks closely at the data to figure out, okay, what is the annual cost of living increase going to be to address increases in inflation and consumer prices. The Senior Citizens League, which is a nonpartisan group, is now estimating that because of this latest data, again, 9.1% inflation rate, that the cost of living increase for next year for Social Security beneficiaries would be 10.5%.
Breaking news, we got some good stimulus information that I want you guys to know. Stimulus checks has been created. A new program has been established. Americans that are seeking government stimulus payments, well, good news. Monthly stimulus checks from your state are going to be approved. Now, here's some big news. Many more relief checks can be expected for the people. A new guaranteed income program will give hundreds of dollars to eligible households in Virginia per month for 2 years. The authorities started accepting applications for the guaranteed income program on October 31st. Those who haven't yet received this guaranteed income program, guaranteed stimulus check from Virginia, need to hurry as the applications can only be filed until November 9. A point to note is that this guaranteed income program is specifically for people in the state of Virginia. The new relief program is going to be sent out based on basic income to hundreds of local families. Now, the mayor of a city in Virginia told reporters, guaranteed income program is a proven tool to help families become stronger and financially stronger footing and take steps to move up the economic ladder. From the total applications, everybody, the program will randomly select residents. The selected people will get $500 a month for 2 years, and authorities expect to first see the guaranteed income stimulus checks from Virginia in 2023. This program is going to cost $3 million, not a lot of money, and the funding for the program just comes from the CARES Act and the Rescue Plan Act. To be eligible for the guaranteed stimulus check, you must be at least 18 years older, and also applicants' annual income should be less than 50% of the area median income. Not only this, but other states and cities are doing the same thing. They're experimenting with this. They're experimenting with similar guaranteed income programs. Richmond, Virginia, for instance, came up with a similar program with just 18 families. New York also did the same thing. For the last 6 months, President Biden has just been talking with his advisors about discussing the gas prices and what needs to happen on this. That's because now single prices rattle consumers as much as the cost of gas, which crept up again to a new high of $5 a gallon in June, as it comes no surprise that soaring gas prices corresponded directly with President Biden's sinking approval rating. Since then, gas prices have fallen by about $1.10. Biden may have helped a little by releasing oil from the strategic reserve, but according to Yahoo News, Biden has largely ignored another important type of fuel. Diesel fuel, which is critical for the production and transportation of many everyday products, is here. Around the same time, gas hit $5 a gallon. Diesel hit $5.81 a gallon. Now gas prices are now 22% below their peak, but diesel is just 8% lower. On a year-over-year basis, gas prices are up 15%, while diesel is up 43%. High diesel prices are a kind of hidden inflation because most consumers never buy diesel, but an important input is the production and transportation of many things, including food and consumer goods. Inflation is already 8% higher than usual. Huge reason why Biden's approval rating are low. Now, the American Farm Bureau Federation wrote a letter to President Biden. They drew attention on this. They said our nation's food supply is driven by diesel. High diesel prices are impacting farmers and ranchers, causing increased costs to consumers and adding to food insecurity. Demand for diesel has remained strong due to robust spending on goods shipped by trucks during the crisis, which likely will not hold up this holiday season. So, President Biden, lower the gas prices, do something about this, help out the American people that need stimulus checks, and send out stimulus payments now. Let's not forget about this. The incoming administration was more concerned about jobs, fearing a repeat of the sluggish recovery that followed the global financial crisis. The unemployment rate fell in January again, and the congressional Democrats did quickly pass a $1 trillion relief bill, which included direct payments of $1,400 to most adults, along with expanded unemployment benefits and a new child tax credit. As economic stimulus, it was a success. Employers have added more than 10 million jobs since Biden took office. Republicans blamed the aggressive relief bill on the previous administration, but we all know that's not the truth.
Senators Durbin, Murray, Stabenow, and Senator Baldwin. Now, we had a great, happy, and spirited discussion in our caucus.